Hey guys, it's Mark here and welcome back to Digi Profits. In the last video, I looked at some of the price action on Bitcoin, Harmony One, and DYOR from DeFi Kingdoms. And I also had a look at a lot of different reasons to be bullish about DYOR in the long term, because there's a lot of stuff that's coming up on there, especially given that DYOR is used as a gas token now on Crystal Vale, which that's obviously going to lead to a lot of burning of DYOR when not just Heroes and Quests come out, but when they do the other stuff they have planned, like DeFi lending, DeFi options, adding other currencies to that blockchain, in which case arbitrages will do a lot of trading. Even people that trade on a regular exchange are going to cause price variation to occur, which causes the bots to do more trading over on their subnet. So a lot of that stuff still to come. It hasn't even happened yet. So there's a lot of potential, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to check out all the reasons to be bullish about it, and also potential for downside risk and so forth, and buy-in targets, then go check out the other video, which I will link to in the description below. But today I just want to look at an alternative view on the market. We're going to look at Justin Mammus's Nature of Risk, which was from the early 2000s, yet it quite often shows exactly how and where a market is moving, and based on also the psychology of the people in it and why it tends to play out quite often in this sort of a pattern quite regularly, at least in a market that's long-term bullish, even if it's short-term has its bearish trends. So and I'm going to look at my price predictions for DYOR. And I say predictions plural because I got 3 different buy-in targets based on whether or not we hit these levels. So let's go have a look at that. Now, first of all, Justin Mammus's Nature of Risk. So in a market that's going up, you have this returning confidence, and then, dips down. People are going, quick, buy the dip. They're still pretty enthusiastic, especially if they bought further down here beforehand. Then they get really enthusiastic. We're off to the moon. And then bam, comes back to here, a bit of a subtle warning, then an overt warning, a little bit of disbelief. We think we're still going back up, and then panic, discouragement, wall of worry, anxiety. A lot of retail leaves the market. Institutional investors are buying down here, here, and here. It's a bit of denial that things are going back up, and then bam, returning confidence. And perhaps it might end up here, and a lot of people only just jumped in here, returning confidence phase. They could get burnt on the way back down again, or who knows, they may have learnt some lessons along the way in the cycle. So how does that work out with, say, over here with price action on DeFi Kingdoms? Well, on DeFi Kingdoms, perhaps we've already had like returning confidence, or even initial confidence, given it's a relatively new token. We've got the buy the dip phase that came in right there. And it wicked straight down to the fib level, and then it came straight back up and hit the other fib level. And then people are very enthusiastic at this point, but that's also when some experienced people in the market started selling and selling and selling. There's your subtle warning and overt warning. Well, it was just a big overt warning when it came all the way down to here. And then we had a bit of panic set in right here. My first buy-in, by the way, was right here, right when we hit this fib level. I thought that could be quite good. I had my lines drawn in here, thinking maybe we'll carry on up. Nope, carried on down. The moment I knew we'd broken that fib level, I was not certain, but I was wondering if something like this was playing out, and I actually waited quite a long time until we got down to what I thought might be that discouragement point here, and I bought in mostly at $4. Obviously, we went all the way up here, and that was due to the launch of Crystal Vale as well. And then I didn't sell the top. I probably should have, but instead I was just selling my rewards, which was still thousands of dollars in crypto rewards, a lot between here and here. So I kept my position, but I sold off rewards, and then I used those rewards to help compound on the way back in. So I would use the jewel I was getting every day in rewards through the game and through the gardens in the game, and then I added to that my putting money back in from there all the way down. And I've been doing that all the way down to here, and now I've got maybe $3,000 left of that to keep compounding back in. But my next buy-in target, though, is $2.67. So if I'm going to add a significant amount of money, let's say, I don't know, another $10,000 or something, I'd do that at $2.67. I'd buy a lot more, maybe $20,000 at $2.04, and maybe I would ape in with 40, 60, 80,000, who knows, at $1.26. They're my bigger buy-in targets if we ever see them. We may not see those. Okay? Who knows? Because if this is the aversion phase here, who knows? This could be the bottom right there at 267. I don't know. That's why I want to at least buy something half decent, because I'd be regretted if I didn't and we go up. Same with here and same with here. But on the off chance that we're not at the bottom, I never go all in. Okay, you just got to edge your way in as much as you can when you're in the bearish phase. See below this little line here, the bearish phase, you know, or in this case below about $9. You want to do that. Just edge your way in and just be careful. Never go in with more than, say, 20% of what you have available or something like that. I think that's a good little rule of thumb, so that way you can buy the bigger dips if they come. But okay, so that's looking at it from this point of view. So my price prediction, $2.67. And $2.04 and $1.26, all based on how Bitcoin moves and their release of various things like pets, like getting the heroes and quests going on Serendale and stuff. I mean, on Crystal Vale and stuff like that. If that takes a long time, we could see $1.26 way down the track before we start moving our way back up. But that's not a bad thing necessarily, because I can keep earning and compounding Joule along the way, and can, on top of that, see the appreciation in the price when it does eventually come up. Okay, so on Bitcoin, for that to play out, you'd probably need to see something like this, or it could be slanted over a longer period of time. It doesn't have to be this steep. But the idea is that, okay, so we had our, you know, when it went to 64K, we had our returning confidence, dropped down by the dip, then people were enthusiastic, then we had our subtle warning and overt warning. People were like, no, we're going to 100K. But no, bang. Oh, people started to panic, but they thought, don't worry, we're still going to 100K, and then they kept buying in, and how far can this dip? And then discouragement is about there. And then little bits of ups, and then bang, back down, then up, then bang, back down, and there's your wall of worry, there's your anxiety, particularly as altcoins are getting slammed, and now perhaps we're at aversion. Aversion could go as low as 33K, and you could still argue that it's still part of the same formula. Okay, if you start going down to 29K and below, we're probably looking at a longer term time frame, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So, okay, so that's the bullish scenario. If things are going to stop around 267 or 204. Around those levels for Joule, they need Bitcoin to also, in the wider market, to do all right, do pretty well. So, okay, and it could, like I said, be a slant that goes more sideways-y than this. It doesn't have to get there in a few months. That could be March next year, and it could be really slanted a bit longer time frame. But what if it's playing out like this? What if it's a longer term version of the Justin Mammoth theory? And in which case, okay, this is looking at the last 2 years, returning confidence being early 2021, late 2020, buy the dip being mid last year, enthusiasm, your subtle warning, and we haven't even reached the panic phase yet. Now, some people would say, nah, Bitcoin's never going down to 10K, as I've got on this graph here. But bear in mind, my squiggles and lines in this graph have been drawn on a graph that is not a logarithmic graph. If this was drawn maybe logarithmically, and I'd done it not so quickly off my freehand, you may find that discouragement could be even 25K, 26K. So just bear in mind that this could be up a little bit higher. Don't just use this graph as gospel if it does play out. Could just be that we're down here, but it shows like we could be in the accumulation phase for a whole nother, well, how long is that period? That's about a year. So you could find that we could be from here on in, actually we're going to have another dump, we're going to be down in the low 30s, maybe even as low as in the mid 20s. It could end up being in the 20s to 30s for a long time, and then we go up if the longer phase plays out. Now, I'm not saying this is gospel. It may or may not play out. I'm just using an alternative model to look at things. You've got to bear in mind the downside risk. And if you bear in mind the downside risk and you happen to be in DeFi kingdoms as one example, and this can play out for other currencies, then that $1.26 target, that's where that one would come in. And possibly even a fib level lower than that, you know, under $1. But for coins that have big rises, remember Cardano, it went from $1.07 at one point down to 3 cents, but then it went to over $3. So it had 100x. So if you're ever going to see 100x, you're probably going to have seen a move from that went down like 98% before that happened. So otherwise 100x is quite hard to achieve because people don't believe that it can get there if it's never been there before, like say to $1, and then going to 3x on that's not so hard to see. It's just, you know, there's a lot to it with the psychology of it all. I'm not saying it's going to go down there and then 100x up, but I'm just saying that it does present big opportunities in that sense, as long as you are long-term bullish on the coin, in which case you better check out my previous video and see some of the reasons why you might want to be bullish about this particular project. Okay, so anyway, that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you like what I have to say, if you like my comments. If you disagree, feel free to dislike the video. Feel free to type in stuff that you think is crap about my video if you want to. It's up to you guys. I'm learning as I go. This is only my second video, so I'm learning about not just like about crypto in general, but more about what is good content for you guys and what level of discussion. And am I making my videos too long? Maybe I should be stop blabbering and just try and get it down to 7 minutes. I don't know. So anyway, that's it from this particular video. I hope that you've enjoyed it, gained great value, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, everybody.